fighters and world-class contenders. In the main event, we have Mexican champion Emanuel Navarrete making the first defense of his WBO featherweight world title against Puerto Rican contender Christopher Diaz, who's making his second attempt at a world title. And in the co-feature, do not blink, do not get up, do not microwave anything. We have Edgar Berlanga, super middleweight sensation from Puerto Rico, and Brooklyn, 16-0 with 16 first-round knockouts, taking the biggest step up of his career against Demond Nicholson. Those two fights at ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus at 10 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then the undercard, which will be exclusive to ESPN Plus starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, includes many of the sport's young Puerto Rican talent. Like I mentioned, we have Josue Vargas in a 10-round junior welterweight fight against Willie Shaw. We have Joseph Adorno making his long-awaited return against a fellow unbeaten fighter in Jermaine Ortiz. Orlando Gonzalez, Joseph's younger brother Jeremy Adorno, and the young Jacob Gomez will also be on the card as well. And the man who we are going to be talking to first, Xander Zayas, 7-0, 5 knockouts from San Juan, Puerto Rico, now living in Florida. He's waving right now. If you can see him, I'm going to take him off mute very shortly. He's 18 years old, one of the sport's bright young prospects, signed to Top Rank as the youngest fighter ever to be signed by the company at 16 years old. He's now 18, and he's ready to put on a show. This is his third time fighting in front of the faithful in Kissimmee. Kissimmee obviously is one of the largest pockets of Puerto Ricans in the United States. So the venue is going to be loaded with Puerto Rican fans. For those who want to buy tickets, unfortunately, as of now, we are sold out, socially distanced inside the Silver Spurs Arena, but we are expecting a crowd of around 3,500 or so fans, sold out. So thank you to the great fans of Puerto Rico and Central Florida for being so passionate about this event. And now we introduce Xander Zayas. He's joining us now. Xander, how you doing, sir?
Evan, first off, I want to say thank everybody for being here. I'm excited for Saturday night and can't wait to put on a show.
This is we mentioned this is your third time fighting in Kissimmee. You fought in the bubble. You fought in a few different locations. What is it about fighting in Kissimmee and in front of the Puerto Rican fans that is so exciting? And how do you feed off that energy that they bring you?
It means a lot. It means a lot. Kissimmee is kind of like another city in Puerto Rico, just outside of the island. But the fans are excited. We're back, with fans for the first time in a year, and I'm just excited and ready again to showcase my talent. Come Saturday night.
And as a reminder to everybody, you'll be able to take footage of this from the Top Rank YouTube channel after the meeting concludes. So feel free to do so. So you do not have to ask me for permission to record. You guys can take the footage for your channels. As I mentioned, if you want to ask questions, please use the raise hand button on your Zoom, or if you cannot figure that out, you can just message me privately. Don't message the entire group, and we will get your messages in the queue. We will start off with, let's see, we've got for Xander, we'll be asking questions in English, please. So English questions only for Xander. Let's see who we have here. Eric Vega. Eric, I'm gonna unmute you, and please go ahead when ready.
Hey Xander, how you doing? 7-0, Puerto Rico. Pretty much you feel like fighting in Puerto Rico, just like you said in Kissimmee. What does it mean to you to be the young prospect for Puerto Ricans? You know that Puerto Ricans have gone through a bad moment in boxing. We seem like we're lacking a good prospect, someone we can look for the future. What does it feel to have that on you, and does it add extra weight to your career?
Well, it means a lot to me. Having the Puerto Rican fans behind me. I wouldn't say add extra weight. I just feel a responsibility to work hard, stay focused, to accomplish my goals and make Puerto Rico proud. And that's what I'm looking forward to do. That's what I'm looking forward to do in the future.
We've seen you go to Puerto Rico and train. You've trained with some all-time greats. Can you share some of the advice they've shared with you in all those training sessions?
Yes, 100%. They always tell me, I'm young, stay focused, stay hungry, listen to my corner, and keep learning, keep learning. You never stop learning, and that's what I've been doing the last couple of months, learning.
Thank you very much, Eric. And next we go to Joe Hewlett. Joe, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hey, Xander. Greetings from England. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, thank you.
Good. I was reading an interview that you did recently, and you were saying each fight, you want the level to go higher and higher. At the minute, after 7 fights, what level do you feel you're at?
Well, this coming up fight is my toughest competition. We got a guy that is eight wins, one loss, one draw, 5 wins by knockout. And again, little by little, I keep winning fight after fight, and we'll keep moving up. We'll keep moving up little by little. I have great matchmakers, Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, and I'm just blessed to be in the position I am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. We will stay in the UK. I guess Xander's popularity is not just in Puerto Rico in the United States. Jonathan.
Well, that means a lot to me.
Yeah, so we got another UK. As much as I try, I cannot get rid of the Brits. So Jonathan Naganoff, go ahead when ready, man.
Thanks, Evan. Hey, Xander, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. And again, thank you guys for all the love, man.
Can you talk to us about your last fight against James Martin? How do you assess it?
Well, we knew coming into the fight that he was a tough opponent. He wasn't gonna back down. We kept the distance. We kept the boxing sharp. I kept listening to my corner, and again, we got the victory. We got the unanimous decision.
Last camp, you were sparring with Adrian Broner. Who have you been sparring with this time? Who have you been learning from?
Well, this time we brought a couple other guys. They don't have as big name as a pro yet, but we brought tall guys because the guy that I'm fighting is 6'2". So we needed people to mimic his style, and so we brought people in that are pretty much tall. So for this one, I wouldn't say I didn't have any big names like that.
Best of luck Saturday, Xander.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. As I mentioned, we got a few more minutes with Xander. So anybody wants to ask questions, use the raise hand mechanism on the Zoom. And if you can't figure that out again, you can just privately chat on the chat below. You can shoot me a private message, and I will do my best to get to as many of you as possible. Alan Alford, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Great to have you, Xander. Definitely. And good best wishes on your next fight here coming up. I did want to ask you a question. I know since we were talking about Puerto Rico at the start, Miguel Cotto is your favorite boxer. Can you explain to us why Miguel Cotto is your favorite boxer?
Oh, Miguel Cotto, throughout his career, he was a gentleman in and outside the ring. A pure boxer that knew when to, when it was smart for him to move and when it was smart for him to fight. I think his career throughout the years, he fought the best of the best at their prime, and he took all the risks, in his career to be the best, and he fought the best. So I think that's something that inspires me, and it's something that I want to do in the future.
Thank you, Alan. I mean, you see, I see Xander. You're wearing the Puerto Rico sweatshirt. Yeah, I'm not going to pronounce that because my Spanish is not good. I'll wait for Gardy to get on the call. He can do it. But you obviously you moved to Florida when you were a teenager. But how important is it for you to still carry on that legacy and sort of now that you're getting all this attention because of your Puerto Rican roots? Just can you discuss sort of the importance of the island and the country to you as you develop?
Well, it means everything to me. Puerto Rico has had great champions, and I'm looking forward to be one of them. The island of Puerto Rico have great people and people that want to see I want to see world champions, in boxing. So, having them behind me and supporting me, it means a lot. So the least that I can do is represent them and stay focused.
And next we go to Crystal Hart. Crystal, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Xander, I'm down here in Florida right now. I'm in Bradenton down by IMG. I don't know if you've heard of that facility. It's a wonderful training facility. Could you tell me, and it's raining here a lot, but tell me how Plantation, Florida, about the weather and your training facility. What facility do you use down there?
Right now we're working at Sweatbox boxing facility, but it's also a collaboration with Boomeritos down here in Davie, Florida. The weather right now is pretty hot. So the weight cut, it hasn't been a problem. And yeah, I've been working with Coach Javier Centeno and my dad Orlando Garcia since I moved, to the US, and it's been up from there. It's been up, and I love it down here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. And as a reminder, since I'm getting this question again, as I mentioned, you'll be able to record, go after the chat, go to our YouTube channel, and feel free to take some footage from there to use on your channels, free to use. So I hope that answers the question. Xander, before we let you go, any final words you'd like to say to your fans out there as we're now 4 days away from Fight Night?
Yes. Well, first off, I want to thank everybody once again. All the support, all the love. I feel already all the good vibes. I've been getting a lot of messages. I'm sorry I can't respond to all of them. But again, Saturday night on ESPN Plus, you don't want to miss it. If you got your ticket, make sure to show up. It's gonna be a great night of Puerto Rican boxing, and we all gonna get the victory.
Well, listen, Xander, we're all looking forward to you performing again on Saturday night. As I mentioned, it's a 6-round welterweight fight against DeMarcus Layden. 8-1-1, 5 KOs is Layden's record. Xander 7-0 with 5 KOs. So you're not going to want to miss that. Xander, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you again.
Thank you, Xander. And next, we turn to another Puerto Rican prospect who we haven't seen in a while. It's been since January 2020 was the last time we all saw Joseph Adorno. He was held to a draw against Hector Perez out in Atlantic City, but he is back. A lot of changes in his life that he can tell you about. I know he's had a baby. He's had a baby since then, and he's a couple fights fell through for various reasons, injuries, etc. So Joseph, welcome back. How are you doing today?
Feeling great. How you doing, Evan?
Joseph, great to hear from you. So as I mentioned, it's been not great at math, but I think it's been about 15 months since we've seen you in the ring. So can you tell us what's been going on in those 15 months? What's changed, and what's different, and what everybody can expect from Joseph Adorno on Saturday night?
I've been out the ring for 15 months, but I've been in training camp like basically the whole 2020. I had 3 fights that got postponed. One of them was in June. The other one was, March, June, and then October. October, I was supposed to fight for the NABO title. And, 2 days before the fight, the fighter just quit on me. Never showed up to the Vegas. And, it just been a rough 2020. But in a good note, just had my kid, my son. He just turned 1 year old. It's just been a great motivation for me.
And, I asked Andrew this question, Joseph, Kissimmee is basically little Puerto Rico, right? It's as close as you can get to Puerto Rico when you're in the United States. So can you discuss how important it is for you to perform and to fight in front of a crowd that it will be largely Puerto Rican and Puerto Rican American, well, Puerto Rican, I should say.
Like I said, it's just like a mini Puerto Rican parade out in June, Madison Square Garden. That's how it's gonna feel. It's full. I know this arena's already sold out. I know it's gonna be a great main event from top to bottom. From the first fight 6 p.m. to the main event probably 10:30. It's gonna be just straight fireworks. All type of styles of boxing. It feels amazing. Knowing that Puerto Rico is still supporting the young prospects.
And I wanted to ask you. You're coming back from by far the longest life of your career against a guy who is unbeaten in Jermaine Ortiz, who's coming off a very good win the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Roy Jones undercard. He had a very, very eye-opening win. So what does it say about your confidence that you're coming back from a long layoff and you're coming back in what many people would say is the toughest test of your career?
You said it yourself. It just explains a lot. It means that I'm ready to fight. I didn't take no tuna fight, because some guys, they take a long layoff, and after a draw, they'll come back, get a nice little tuna fight, get an easy win, and then go back to the real test. But nah, we're not here for that. We ready. We fighters. I'm not afraid of anything. We got to step up the level, and we're gonna go in there and take the toughest fights.
And thank you, Joseph. And as I mentioned, raise hand button if you'd like to ask questions of our fighters today. So we will, and again, with English questions for Joseph, please. When we get to Navarrete and Diaz, Navarrete and Diaz, we'll have Guardia Lopez here in the chat who can translate from English to Spanish and vice versa. First question for Joseph, we have Eric Alexander. Eric, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hey, Joseph. Just like you stated, 2020 was a weird year for everybody. Can you talk about how different training was, the approach, and with all the social distancing, how did you guys handle it to keep training at a high level for fights of this type?
We down in where I'm from, Allentown, Pennsylvania, we have our own gym. So, it wasn't that hard to keep the social distance and training. But, 2020 was a rough year, even though I didn't get the fights I needed. I was supposed to fight March, June, and October, and all those fights just fell off for me. Had my son coming in April. So, it had this good and bad, but, just kept on the focus. We had sparring with world champions, world champions stay in the gym active at all time. So that was a plus right there. So, I'm just ready and prepared for this fight coming up though, for sure.
And having traveled to Puerto Rico and this being a very Puerto Rican heavy card, what does that mean to you? Does that give you an extra bit of motivation to face the future opponents?
Yeah, this gave me a very, very I get more motivated within the days. 4 days left, I get more motivated out in the gym. In the gym, I look in the mirror, I get more excited. I'm like, yes, it's already here. All the hard work is done. What we're doing is now just relaxing, sweating the last 2 pounds off, just relaxing in the gym, motivated, staying focused. It just shows that if I perform well on Saturday night, that Puerto Rican crowd is going to keep going behind me. I'm my toughest test up to date. And, they're going to know that they have a real true prospect coming up.
And Joseph, you mentioned in October your scheduled opponent. I think he just didn't show up for his flight. I honestly, I think it's still a mystery about what happened back in October. Is part of you like, not going to believe you're back in the ring until you're actually in the ring with your opponent, given like everything that's gone on in COVID and you've sort of been snake bitten in 2020 aside from what everybody else has gone through?
Well, his trainer, I know my opponent's trainer, he told me straight up, the kid got scared. 2 days before the fight, he had 2 full months to train for me. We was going to fight for the NABO title, 10 rounds. 2 days before the fight, the kid just got scared, the call pulled out. The trainer told me straight up. But, me and my brother used to always talk about it on the rides to sparring. We was like, it don't even feel like we're going to fight. It don't feel the same anymore. But, it's not going to feel the same until that last minute when you're wrapping up your gloves and stuff. That's when you're really going to get the nerves and all that stuff.
And I should mention Joseph's younger brother, Jeremy Adorno, is a junior featherweight prospect, 4-0. He too hasn't fought since January 2020 in Atlantic City on the Jesse Hart, Joe Smith Jr. card, which also was a raucous crowd. And I think rather than 15 months ago, sort of feels like 15 years ago. But yeah, as of Jeremy Adorno will be the second fight on the card. So figure around 6:20, 6:30 Eastern, you'll see Jeremy Adorno in action as well. We move to Joe Hewlett. Joe,
and it shows a lot. It shows a lot about my brother and I. We took undefeated fighters on our comeback.
That is true, yeah. And Jeremy Adorno's fighting a gentleman named Ramiro Martinez from Texas, 2-0-2. So both Adorno brothers taking undefeated fighters on Saturday night. Joe Hewlett. Joe, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Greetings from England. Joseph, a question to you is, this weekend it's a real big fight for you. How do you rate how do you rate the fighter that you're going in with?
You know, the fighter, I don't really look into the fighters like that a lot, but you know, I just looked at his record, who he fought, what he's done. You know, he's a great fighter. You know, he's ranked number 9 in the U.S., so I know he's up there. You know, he just came off of a big victory. You know, he has won youth titles back then, not so long ago. So you know, I know it's a tough fight. You know, toughest fight of my career. But hey, if we don't take these fights, how are we gonna know if we're great or not?
And you have 12 knockouts on your record. Do you think you'll knock him out?
Man, I never go for the knockout. You know, if a knockout comes, it comes. You know, like I said, with my last fight, you know, it opened up my eyes. You know, it's just not about hitting hard. You know, you gotta box smart in there, use your brain. And, you know, if the knockout comes, then we're gonna take it for sure. But if it don't, then we're ready for all rounds.
And I have a question from the chat from Carlos Gonzalez, and he wants to ask you, Joseph, how have things changed in your boxing career since becoming a father?
You know, it changed a lot. You know, it shows that being a father, you know, it's hard at times, you know, while training being a 24/7 boxer, plus you got to put out the time to be a father. So, you know, it just really motivates me even more though, to be honest, because now I don't only have to feed me, and I have to feed my own family, you know, my son. I don't want my son to go through hard things, you know, so I just got to work hard and, you know, make sure to provide everything for my family.
And as I mentioned, everybody, please raise hand button. We got a couple more questions, a couple more minutes with Joseph. So yeah, please raise hands, or yeah, you can ask a question in the chat, and I can ask, you know, like Carlos Gonzalez just did. Happy to do that. So next we stay in the UK. Jonathan Nagyoff, Pro Boxing Fans. Jonathan, please go ahead.
Hey Joseph, I just wondered if you could briefly touch on sort of your roots into boxing. Was it just like a lot of Puerto Rican fighters saw Miguel Cotto or someone like that? How did you sort of start?
To be honest, I started because of my dad. You know, my dad, he was a boxer. I'm gonna cut it summarize quick. He was a boxer. A nail hit his eye, scraped his eye. He lost the eye. And then 3 months after, he started training me and my little brother. I started boxing at the age of 6 out in Puerto Rico, did 40 fights in Puerto Rico. And then at the age of 9, I moved to the U.S. And, you know, ever since then, I just been boxing my whole career. But yeah, you know, watching Tito, Cotto, all those guys inspire me, you know, how the crowd loved them for who they is. You know, win or loss, the crowd's still there with them, sold out stadiums, win or loss. And that's what we're trying to build, and that's what I'm trying to become.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you've got a big fight on Saturday against an unbeaten guy, but if you come through this, you know, do you have any guys in mind you want to fight?
Yeah, you know, I feel like I know Teofimo going to go up to 140 soon. You know, those belts are going to be vacant. So I know there's a big fight, you know, winner could be ranked up for a chance for a world title. So, you know, it's a big fight, you know, big step up, and, you know, I'm just ready.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. And Joseph, you mentioned it, you know, is just part of, you know, you came up, you know, with a string of huge knockouts, 2018, 2019, then the draw, then the layoff. Is part of you feel like now you have to sort of reprove yourself because the fans haven't seen you in a while? You're coming off, admittedly, not your best performance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you have to prove a little something to the fans that maybe, you know, because it's been a couple of years since you had a highlight reel knockout?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I feel like it's just how I feel. It's not a fact, but it's how I feel. I feel like I have the most toughest fight in the whole card. You know, I got the pressure on my fight was the last draw. I come out of 15 months layoff, and I got an opponent that's 14-0 with 8 knockouts, you know. So it's just gonna be a tough fight, you know. The pressure's on for sure. But you know, we just gotta go out there, perform, and be comfortable, and just do me.
Okay, we had a question here from Ricardo Torres. Trying to get this question. He's asking for those. Yeah, so I mean, basically the question is, you know, representing Saturday night for all of Puerto Rico, and again the importance of you know, of representing your home island and doing so in front of a crowd that's going to be largely Puerto Rican.
Yeah, you know, I always, no matter what, every fight in and out, I carry the flag of Puerto Rico in all my fights. You know, when they pronounce me, they announce my name, I always pronounce that I'm from Puerto Rico, you know. And it's gonna be it's a great feeling, when I know that once they say I'm from Puerto Rico, the crowd gonna go crazy for me. I just gotta just perform well.
And Joseph, before we let you go, any final words you'd like to say to the fans out there that are going to be watching Joseph Adorno for the first time in 15 months?
I just want to say that if you didn't buy your tickets, you can get on ESPN Plus. You're going to watch the whole card from fight 1, from fight 8. All fights are going to be explosive, And I just want to say thank you for all my followers, all my supporters, Puerto Rico, Allentown, everybody from the whole United States, from wherever you're watching me, supporting me. I appreciate it. And Joseph is going to prove that I'm a great prospect.
Joseph, I as everybody knows, I appreciate you with the ESPN Plus plug, because for the last 3 years, that's my entire Twitter has been plugging ESPN Plus. So Joseph, the check's in the mail. Great job. And we will see you Saturday night, my friend. Good luck.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you.
Have a good one. And now we are joined by the pride of Isabela, Puerto Rico. I think, Josue, I think that's correct. Isabela, Puerto Rico. By way of the Bronx, New York. He probably, I would say, has the most unique fashion choice of any boxer we're going to have on the Zoom call today. Shirts off. Was that a hat going on here? Backwards hat, shirt off. Josue Vargas is in shape, as you can see, and ready to go. He will be fighting Willie Shaw, as I mentioned, in a 10-round. Yes, now he's for those who can't. Joseph, they can see me. Now you'll have to flex when you get back on the camera. I'll prompt you to flex because nobody saw that. He's fighting Willie Shaw in a 10-round junior welterweight fight. He is 18. Josue is 18-1, 9 knockouts, has won 12 fights in a row. In his last fight on the Vasily Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez undercard, he shut out Kendo Castaneda, beating Castaneda more convincingly than anybody had done previously. Josue, welcome to the call. And now you can flex all you want. How's it going, Josue?
What's up, my man? Everything good?
Well, you're going to be shy. Not now that everybody can see you. You're not going to flex. Now you flexed before. You're not going to.
Who can see me though? Who can see me? I don't know who can see me.
Everybody can see you now. Well, now everybody can see Josue. So now, yeah, there we go. Yeah, see,
this right here is 140 pounds solid, man. As they can see, I'm in shape. I'm ready to go. I'm excited for this opportunity to be fighting in Kissimmee, Florida, in front of my Puerto Rican support and Puerto Rican fans.
Well, you said 140 pounds. Josue, the weigh-in is Friday, so you have 3 days. Please weigh 140 pounds. That's the most important thing. But you mentioned, you mentioned, you fought in the bubble last time. You fought a bunch in New York. To fight in what's essentially Little Puerto Rico, Kissimmee, Florida. How excited are you to be fighting in front of 3,500 of your countrymen?
Yeah, Evan, I'm super excited. I fought back-to-back 2 fights with no fans, no crowd. So fighting right here in Kissimmee, basically, like, to me, it's like home. It's like Little Puerto Rico. It's like Puerto Rico, like you said. And that's why I'm moving to Florida from New York, just to feel like I'm back home where I was born at in Puerto Rico. But I have a lot of supporters, man. Like me and Edgar saw a lot of tickets. And you got people not only from Florida supporting me, but you got my family from New York City, my supporters from California, from all over, man, from Puerto Rico. They all landing today, actually. And as you can see, I reposted on my story. And if you haven't looked yet, go look at it. A lot of people have reposted me there. They already flying in, coming to support me April 24, man, Saturday night. It's about to be on and popping.
And you mentioned, we mentioned your last fight, Kendo Castaneda, which on paper, by far the most impressive victory of your career. Did you expect the Castaneda fight to be as easy as it looked? Or did he present more challenges than it looked, at least to us watching on TV and ringside?
Look, to me, no fight is easy because anything can happen in the ring, right? You could get hurt by one lucky punch or something like that. But to be honest, from seeing his fights before I fought him, I'm like, I don't see nothing special on him. He's a perfect fight for me. So he was a perfect style for me. I have a lot of footwork. I got a lot of hand speed, and that's what I did that night. I used my hand speed and my footwork, and I just didn't fight his fight, which is in the inside. I was in and out at all times, so that's how I made it look easy.
And before we get to questions from the media, Josue, inquiring minds want to know, last June, your fight against Salvador Briseño, obviously a lot of drama surrounding that fight. But no worries, Josue Vargas, his father, will be in the corner this weekend.
He'll
be in the corner. He was in the corner last fight, and he'll be in the corner this weekend. But how many teeth did you get knocked out in the Briseño fight? You got a couple of your caps, a couple of your veneers knocked out. How many was it? Two?
Yeah.
Two?
It was I think it was three.
Three.
And after they got knocked down after the fight, I stood in Vegas for a whole week because I was enjoying myself out there with my girlfriend. And I was with no teeth for a whole week. So I'm like, damn. When I got back to New York, I went to the doctors as soon as possible and I got them fixed, man. It cost me $12,000, but I still got them fixed. Look.
Well, see, great teeth. So that's $4,000 a tooth. Thankfully, listen, I got to get out of the PR business and get into dentistry. If teeth are costing $4,000 each, so your whole mouth is probably around $80,000. So so keep the teeth in your mouth this time, Josue. That would be
for
good
sure.
For your budget.
But look, I ain't had the funds for the extra teeth, so I still gotta get that one fixed. I still gotta get that last one fixed. It's already paid for, but for those who don't know, they actually put a bone inside of me, like a fake bone. So I had to wait 6 months till that bone gets strong. So after this fight is the final process, and I will have all of them on.
Well, come soon. You'll have a couple more wins. I think you'll be able to get that taken care of. Anyway, enough about Josue's teeth. As nice as his veneers are,
I still got a nice smile, right, Evan?
So it's Josue. Once this fight's done, we are going to get you a Colgate Crest commercial, maybe some Crest white strips, something. We'll get you something, and maybe do like a Colgate commercial in English and Spanish. Show your versatility. We will start media questions with Alan Alford. Alan, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Great, Josue. Definitely. Being I'm from Brooklyn and you're from the Bronx, explain to us, what does that mean to represent the Bronx and coming out here in Kissimmee and doing your thing on Saturday?
Oh, it means everything to me, man. I just want to become basically like the second to become world champion coming out of the Bronx, because a lot of people from the Bronx don't make it out of the Bronx.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a lot of distraction out there, and this is why, like I said, I decided to move to Florida and keep it cool out here, because I don't want to follow nobody's footsteps, and this is why I'm at where I'm at right now, because I just focus on myself and just did what I had to do, and that's since a kid, just started boxing and become who I am right now, a professional boxer.
That's awesome. Definitely, you're right. Not coming out of the Bronx is not easy, and
tough.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, I know I could definitely feel you're ready to go. From a technical standpoint, is there anything that you have to remind yourself to do in this fight to be successful?
Well, just do what I do best. But look, listen, every time I step in the ring, every fight, I just get better and better, and I just show different skills. So that's what's about me, And coming to this fight, I'm planning to apply pressure and just dominate it, man. Dominate it. If I don't take him out early, then it's gonna be domination the whole 10 rounds. But the plan is to dominate him from the first round. Like I said before, he don't have the experience I have, and I know that because just by paper, just by looking at paper, I just can see, man. I'm just on a different level, bro, and that's gonna show on Saturday night.
I'll be watching, and best wishes to you. Definitely
appreciate that.
And you talked about the fight. I mean, your opponent Willie Shaw hasn't been featured on American television that much. I don't know how much tape you saw. How much tape did you see of Willie Shaw? And if you have, what have you seen from him?
Well, I've seen about 2 fights of him in Mexico. He had a couple fights there, but that was I'm talking about like 4 years ago. And I just saw the one recently, the one that was on PBC where Omar Juarez. which that was the fight that I saw that he had a lot of bad habits, you know, and that's something that I'm that I'm gonna try to how you say try to dominate from his mistakes on Saturday night. He every time I see every time you fake, he reacts to everything. He'll react to fighters. So I'm just gonna focus on his mistakes and that's it, man.
And so Josue is going to get, he's given up the whole game plan now. So now Willie Shaw's watching, and now you're cooked, Josue. Your game plan is done. You talk about coming back to coming to Kissimmee to fight, and obviously the Puerto Rican support that you're going to be getting. Obviously, we're not back in New York City yet for fights. Hopefully, that comes sooner than later. Have you thought about what it'll be like when you return to Madison Square Garden and New York to fight, especially coming off your last couple wins and then hopefully another victory on Saturday night?
Well, it's gonna be great. Once I get back in Madison Square Garden, it's gonna be great, man. I'm probably gonna have the arena almost sold out because I'm about to have 20 wins. After this one, 19 wins, and then in the summertime, hopefully get another fight, and that's gonna be my 20th victory. So my name is just gonna keep growing and growing each fight. And as you can see, I gain about 15,000 followers every time I fight. So my name just keep going out there, and a lot of people be posting me like ESPN Ringside, regular ESPN, you guys Top Rank, and I appreciate that, man, because like I said, that's just getting my name more out there.
I have a question from Lester Silva. He sent a question into the chat. Lester, thank you. Question for Josue. You and Edgar started building your fan base in Orlando, Little Puerto Rico. He says, I know you and Edgar are tight, but to be honest, will you be the Puerto Rican to steal the show on Saturday night, and why? And just so you know, Josue, Edgar did just show up to the chat, so he is listening. So that it's the question for you there.
Hey, listen, he got 16 wins, 16 by knockouts. So that's a lot of people like knockouts, right? So I guess that's excitement for everybody. But hey, let's just see. I mean, we have Xander, we have Edgar, we have Pitufo fighting for a world title. We have Joseph Adorno. We're gonna have a lot of great fights on Saturday night. A lot of great talent, a lot of great Puerto Rican young fighters. We all young, so we all gonna put on the show, man. And just expect fires coming from me.
Well, see, that was a very good. It sounds like a publicist fed you that answer, Josue. Very good job. I'm proud of you. You deflected that question from Lester Silva. Good job. We got Berlanga on the line, so we are going to we're going to let you go, Josue. But anything you'd like to say to your fans, Puerto Rico, the Bronx, anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
I want to appreciate everybody that supported me. And if you don't know me yet, you're gonna watch me on Saturday night. Put on a great performance, April 24th. Just keep watching and keep supporting me while I become world champion, man. And that's gonna come very soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Josue, and we will see you Saturday night. And best of luck. Thank you.
All right, Evan. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
And again, as a programming reminder, Josue's fight will be live and exclusive on ESPN Plus. So if you haven't signed up for ESPN Plus yet and you're a boxing fan, what the hell are you waiting for? It's been 3 freaking years. Sign up. Josue's fight will be the last fight before the gentleman we have joining us right now. He is 16-0, 16 knockouts, all 16 knockouts by way of opening round. His roots in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Was born and raised in Brooklyn and also raised on the Lower East Side. He will punch me if I don't mention the Lower East Side. So Brooklyn, Lower East Side. All-time record for first-round knockouts to start a career is 21. So Edgar is 5 away from tying that. He will face Demond Nicholson Saturday night in by far the toughest test of his career. Edgar Berlanga, welcome. How are you doing today?
How you doing, Evan? I'm good, man.
You know, everybody talks about the streak. How many times have you been asked about the knockout streak over the past since your last fight when you made it 16?
About a million times. You know, a lot of
So-
it's a lot of the same questions. You know, and are they expecting, or am I expecting another first round knockout or whatnot? But you know, like I always say, you know, we're gonna see this Saturday.
So yeah, so Edgar, before we have a bunch of questions in the chat queue. Again, raise hand button or send me a private message on the chat to ask Edgar a question. So yeah, so do you get tired of answering those questions about the first round knockout streak, or do you enjoy that you understand that it sort of like, you know, comes with the territory?
Yeah, you know, for me, it just, you know, people asking me all the time about a first round knockout. You know, it comes with the territory. Like you said, you know, it's not normal for the sport of boxing right now for a young fighter like myself to be knocking everybody out in a.
Well, I think Edgar's, I think Edgar's has just been the recipient of a first round knockout. So we will get him back in the queue very shortly. So yeah, it's the only thing that can knock Edgar out is poor Wi-Fi, it seems. So yeah, he's returning right now. So hold on one second, guys. He's joining. Next time we're gonna have to get him better Wi-Fi. That will be the goal. Edgar, are you back? Hold on, unmute. Edgar, hey Edgar, you back?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Wi-Fi KO1 Berlanga. So yeah, so you're in the middle of saying, you know, talking about all of the. Now you're good. You're in the middle of saying, you know, everybody keeps asking you about the first round knockout streak, and sort of you just sort of come to expect those questions, right?
Yeah, you know, like I always tell everybody, man, you know, just get your popcorn ready. You know, I'm a definitely put on a show this Saturday, in front of a sold out crowd in Little Puerto Rico. You know, Kissimmee, Florida is Little Puerto Rico, and you know, all my fans is gonna be out there supporting me.
And we got Carlos Toro. Before Carlos Toro, please unmute yourself and please ask Edgar the questions in English when Patufo and Navarrete come. We'll have Gardy Lopez on to translate for both for the main event fighters. Carlos, please go ahead when ready.
Hey, Edgar, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. You know, you fought in the bubble with no fans, essentially for Route 2020, and now you're back here with fans in Kissimmee. Does it feel even more special with this first fight with fans back and getting to fly the Puerto Rican flag, you know, with such a Puerto Rico heavy card on Saturday?
Yeah, you know, it feels absolutely great. You know, last year I fought 3 times with no fans. You know, but for me, you know, we just had to get the work in. You know, I had to get the fights in, whether we have fans or not. You know, as long as I was staying active was the main important thing for me. But you know, I'm happy now, man. You know, now we got a sold out crowd this Saturday, April 24. I'm the co-main event. You know, I'm one of the fastest rising, you know, superstars to come in the sport of boxing. And it's just amazing. You know, I can't wait to put on a show. You know, for a guy like me, you know, I go my energy, my adrenaline goes off the crowd. So for me to have such a huge crowd like that, co-main event is going to be amazing.
On paper, Demond Nicholson presents maybe the toughest challenge of your career so far. How much do you know about Demond, and have you seen much tape from him? Do you believe he's the guy that maybe pushes you past that first round, maybe allows you to show elements of your game that you probably haven't had a chance to show because of all the first round knockouts?
No, yeah, absolutely. You know, I feel like, you know, he's a veteran. You know, he has a lot of fights. He has a lot of experience as a professional, and these are the type of fights that we need, and that's the type of fight that I need. You know, I'm not taking him lightly. I never took any fight lightly that I fought in my previous fights. You know, every fight I take as if I'm fighting for a world championship fight, because for me, every fight is a first fight for me, is my first fight, because if I lose or God forbid something happens to me, it's over, you know. So I just take every fight serious, you know, whether it's him, whether it's the next opponent after him. Every fight I take as if I'm fighting for a championship fight. And, you know, we don't underestimate no fighter that's out there. You know, for me, every fight is dangerous. You know, at my weight, every fighter could punch, you know, so is dangerous. And I just gotta stay focused, stay on point, stay poised like I always do, and get the job done.
And now, before we get to the other questions, joining us, the VP of Boxing Operations for Top Rank, Carl Moretti, is joining us on the line. Carl, obviously handling a career like Edgar, it's a delicate balance. You want to give him increased competition, while at the same time you're preserving the unbeaten record. Can you tell us what went into selecting a guy like Demond Nicholson and why why Top Rank and why everybody thinks and Team Berlanga thinks this is sort of the ideal next step in his development?
Thanks, Evan. Sure. Hello to everybody. We submitted, we had a list of about 5 guys that we gave to Edgar and his team, and we discussed them thoroughly, and everybody decided that Nicholson was the right fight for this moment. We don't know what's going to happen Saturday night. No one does until the bell rings. He may go 1 round. He may go 8 rounds. All that matters is he gets the win. As you can see, he's focused. He knows what's at hand. It's the most important fight of his career because it's the next fight of his career. Everything else really doesn't matter. And as long as he continues to work his ass off in the gym, which he does every day, good things will take care of itself. And that's what we're expecting Saturday night.
Thank you very much, Carl. And we'll be back with Carl when we discuss the main event. And now we'll go to Ernesto Amador. Ernesto, please go ahead when ready. And just as a reminder, everybody, ton of questions for Edgar. Won't be able to get to all the questions because we're going to have to keep things moving along eventually, but I will do my best. Ernesto Amador, please go ahead.
Okay, Ivan, do you want me to ask in Spanish and English or?
English, please, for Edgar. For Diaz and Navarrete, we'll have Gardy. We'll translate for both.
Great. Hey, Edgar, it's a pleasure to talk with you. Let me ask you this: how is the feeling for you to be part of this new era of Puerto Rican boxing? Great fighters now, and if you tell me that if you have in mind 2 or 3 Mexicans in your career.
Who I want to fight?
Well, first of all, how is the feeling to be part of this golden era of Puerto Rican boxers? And then 3 Mexican targets that you have in mind.
For this era, it's a blessing, to be a part of it. It's big now for the island of Puerto Rico. You have me, you have a lot of young up and coming Puerto Rican future world champions that's coming from the island, that's Puerto Rican, and it's a big thing for us. I feel like Puerto Rico never had that before, where you have a good solid fighters that's coming out of Puerto Rico that's really good, that could become something big in the sport of boxing. So for me, it's just a lot of blessings that's coming our way. And for me, 3 Mexicans targeting, it's Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, and hopefully, Julio Cesar Chavez if everything goes right with him.
And he means Chavez Jr. We're not promoting elder abuse here at Top Rank. He means Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, not senior.
So we go back to the UK here with Jonathan Nagoff. Jonathan, please go ahead when ready.
Can you just sort of sum up 2020 for yourself and what it meant to you winning Prospect of the Year?
Yeah, 2020 was a big year for me. I already knew last year was gonna be my year. I already said it. Top Rank said it. My team said it. It was just all about it happening, and it did. It happened a little later than expected, because of the pandemic. I was supposed to fight March 14th last year. The fight got canceled. But we ended it well. We ended it with a bang, just like how I wanted. I wanted to end 2020 with amazing start off and I ended it right. And obviously we captured a 2020 Prospect of the Year, which was one of my goals and milestones as a young fighter.
Thank you very much, Carlos. A lot of Jonathan, I should say, a lot of questions. So we get to one from Carlos Narvaez. He has a question for Carl Moretti, and his question for you, Carl, is how hard is it to find opponents for Edgar? Given given what he's been doing to previous opponents?
It's nothing that we all haven't experienced before. Edgar makes our job easier because we know he's doing the right thing in the gym and when the fight isn't scheduled. So that part, you don't have to worry about. He's going to stay in shape. His focus is getting to bigger things than a knockout streak. We know where he wants to go, and we're going to go there with him and bring him there. So that part makes it easy. There are a lot of guys that, they say they want to fight, and then you make them an offer, and, you can buy a house, a car, a yacht with what they want, but it's unrealistic offers. So when you really get to the negotiation, you see how much they want to fight, because then they usually find a way not to take the fight. But listen, it's a pleasure. It's easy to do it when Edgar's doing the right thing, and you don't have to worry about the outside distractions. You see a lot of hype coming around him, which is great. We love it. You see his social Instagram and all that stuff blowing up, but what people don't see is how hard he works in the gym and what that team does to him, his conditioning coach and, the sparring and all that stuff. That doesn't really get out there. And your fighter's ready when he goes through that. So that part makes our job a lot easier. And that's not going to stop. He knows he's got bigger goals on his mind, and he knows what kind of work it's going to do to get there. So, it's a little difficult to get opponents, but you know what? It's a good problem to have.
And thank you, Carl. Yeah, it's a Lamborghini, a yacht. It's a lot of guys say they want to fight Edgar, but when it comes time to brass tacks, sometimes it's not that simple. Joe Hewlett, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Back to the UK we go.
Hey, Edgar. One of the ambitions is to fight at Madison Square Garden on June the 12th. I saw on your social media. How much would that mean to you personally?
Personally, I fought there before. I fought there twice. Because of Top Rank, they put me on a big platform there. On a big fight card. But for me to actually fight there and headline as one of a bigger fights there, man, it'll be something amazing. I come from New York. I come from poverty, man. So for me to make it there and make it to the big screen and make it to the big arena, it's a blessing. It'll be crazy. I know for sure that I'll bring the whole city out like I always do.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got a bunch of other questions in a few more minutes until Christopher Diaz comes on the line. Next, we go to Ricardo Torres from Telemundo. Ricardo, please go ahead when ready.
Saludos, Edgar.
How you doing, ba?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, bien.
Bien, qué bueno. Se supone que este caballero que vas a enfrentar sea tu Demond Nicholson, sea tu principal prueba hasta el momento. Si eso es correcto, te pregunto, ¿has hecho algo en el entrenamiento diferente o enfocado directamente en Nicholson como rival? Cosas de él que te preocupen, cosas de él que tengas que cuidarte, o ha sido más darle seguimiento y continuidad al trabajo que has hecho hasta ahora?
And hey, hold on, just whenever somebody asks a question in Spanish, we got Gardies who will translate it back in English.
Okay.
Edgar, you can answer the question in English or Spanish.
Question is, Demond Nicholson supposed to be your toughest opponent to date. Anything you have studied from him, like you should be careful on fight night?
No, obviously we got a game plan for this Saturday that we're gonna definitely execute. We don't change nothing, but we just keep the hard work and the dedication and staying in the gym. I haven't fought since December, so I've been training and working and staying in the gym, staying active. But we just been working on a specific game plan that we're gonna really execute Saturday night. And I'm going in there with fireworks like I always do. I don't hold back on nothing, on no opponent that's there. Especially him, because I know he's gonna try and go in there and hurt me. So before he hurts me, I'm gonna hurt him.
And Gardy, do you want to translate in the Spanish for Ricardo?
Ricardo's all right with that.
He's okay. Perfect. All right. We got a couple more questions here for Edgar. Eric Alexander, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hey Edgar, the 16 KOs and 16 wins are definitely a big impact in how much your popularity has grown in the past couple of years. But there seems to be a growing concern among Puerto Ricans about what's going to happen when a fighter survives that first round. What's going to happen in your mind? Are you going to change? Are you going to get desperate because you didn't get the KO? Can you talk about what thought process goes through you when that happens?
No, like for me, we just work hard in the gym. If like I always say, that's why everybody's always like, oh, how he's gonna do when he goes to. And at the end of the day, listen, man, I've been boxing for 16 years. I got all the experience in the world. I've been all over the world. I sparred and I've got and the most experience I've could as an amateur, and even just sparring and everything. So for me to go into the second round, I know everybody out there will make it seem like it's bigger than what it is, but it's nothing that big. For me, it's just another day in the office. If I go into the second round, I'm working hard extremely in the gym. I push myself to the limit in the boxing gym, and sparring. We get in the rounds and sparring. I'm sparring with three different guys. Sparring 10 rounds, 12 rounds, 8 rounds straight with different guys just to always put my conditioning to another level.
It seems like the past couple of years, fighters have grasped the idea of how important social media is. We've seen you hang around with a couple of influencers lately. Has that helped grow your popularity among youngsters or maybe not boxing fans?
No, yeah, and I just took advantage of it. A lot of people that's not really that doesn't know like how to build the image, how to build a brand. They take it for granted. But for me, I take that as somewhat to put me on a different type of platform, because at the end of the day, if you could sell those tickets, if you push them butts in the seats, and if you could sell out arenas, man, sky's the limit.
All right, let's see, we got a couple more questions here. Let's see, hold on. Chris with TV Boxeo, please ask a question in English for Edgar. And as I mentioned, when Christopher Diaz comes on and Navarrete, they could answer in Spanish, and we'll have Gardy Lopez translate. Chris, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hey, champ, how's it going? Just in regards to your father, being a father and being in camp, has that been hard for you?
For say it again.
Like your girl's pregnant, you're in camp. It's times where maybe you would want to spend more time with her, but you're in the middle of camp and you're focused on that. How difficult has that been for you?
I brought her into camp last week, so she don't bother. I wanted her with me, next to me, because she's pregnant. She's limited to do a lot of different things she can't do that she normally used to do. So I gotta hold my whole team out here, helping her for whatever she needs, and just having her here, just having her next to me, it just keeps me cool, it keeps me calm. We going to the bubble tomorrow, so I'm gonna be a couple days without her, but it is what it is. We got a job to handle Saturday night.
And Edgar, before you go, we're running out of time, and we got Christopher Diaz on the line right now. Edgar, anything else you'd like to say to your fans? Whether it be watching Saturday night as you go for knockout number 17.
Just to tune in. Saturday night, April 24th is gonna be an amazing night. You got my brother Christopher Diaz Pitufo. He's gonna be fighting for the world championship, and we bringing that title back home to Puerto Rico. We got a lot of other young fighters that's coming up. That's Puerto Rican, that's representing the island as well. And as for me, I'm co-main event. And I'm looking to just to tear the roof off, man. Like I always do. We're fans. We in basically little Puerto Rico. So this fight is gonna be dedicated to the whole Puerto Rico, and to everybody that supports me. This fight is gonna be dedicated to you guys too. I love all my fans out there, all my supporters. Keep supporting me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Edgar, and we will see you in Florida very shortly.
And thank you to Top Rank, ESPN, Evan, my guy, Evan, Gardy, and the whole staff. Everybody calm already, Todd the Buff, everybody. Thank you guys, and I love you guys.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Edgar. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Now joining us on the line, we have Christopher Pitufo Diaz. And before we get to Pitufo, I want to bring things over to Carl Moretti again, because Pitufo's obviously been with Top Rank for a while. Had a setback in his first title shot against Masayuki Ito about 3 years ago. Then fought Shakur Stevenson, but came back with a couple wins after the Shakur Stevenson fight. I mean, Carl, can you talk about Pitufo's journey and after the Shakur fight, what it took for Pitufo to work himself back into position where he was, considered a viable title contender?
Sure. With Pitufo, even though he lost to Shakur, he was obviously disappointed. I think that was a matter of styles and Shakur being a really good fighter. So there's no shame in losing that fight. But he said to all of us afterwards, I'll do what I have to just to get, where I need to be. And if you can get me another shot at a title, I won't disappoint. He did what he had to do. And we find ourselves in that place on Saturday night where he has an opportunity to win a world title against probably the one fighter who's the absolute opposite of Shakur Stevenson in Emmanuel Navarrete. So we'll see how much he's improved and how he handles Navarrete's style as opposed to Shakur's.
And thank you, Carl. Obviously, when Diaz challenged for his first world title, that was at 130 pounds. This fight will obviously be at 126 pounds, a much more natural weight for Pitufo. Now, so everybody, just a heads up, when you ask questions, please if you ask questions in Spanish, please allow Gordy Lopez time to translate in English, and vice versa. If you're asking in English, please allow him to translate in Spanish for Diaz. Pitufo, welcome today, and how excited are you 4 days away from your second shot at a world title? Gardy, go ahead.
How you doing, guys? I'm super excited. Super excited for the fight. Three days left. 3 days left. I can say 4, but the day of the fight doesn't count, so it's 3 days.
And Pitufo Diaz is just proving who needs Gardy Lopez to translate when you have Pitufo Diaz in your corner. I kid. But we go to Ernesto Amador. Ernesto, please go ahead please unmute yourself and go ahead when ready.
Thank you, Ivan. Pitufo, un placer saludarte siempre. No recuerdo hace mucho tiempo a la Isla del Encanto dándole todo el apoyo a un peleador como tú. Félix Tito Trinidad, Berlanga, los grandes campeones están contigo. ¿Y qué significa esto de que la Isla del Encanto pone todas sus esperanzas en ti?
Súper emocionado.
Déjame traducir, Pitu. The question was, how does it feel to, have the support of the whole island, legends like Tito Trinidad, up-and-comers like Berlanga supporting you and telling you that you're going to win the title? How does it feel?
Me siento súper bien, gracias a Dios. Tengo el apoyo de mi gente, Puerto Rico, los grandes campeones como Tito Trinidad, muchos campeones, Iván Calderón, mucha gente me está apoyando. Ven el potencial que tengo para ganar esta pelea. Ahora está en mí la noche del 24, pues poner todas las herramientas que he seguido desarrollando en cuestión de la pelea y ser el ganador esa noche, lo más importante, salir sano.
It feels great to have the support of my people, like great legends like Tito Trinidad, Berlanga, other champions like Iván Calderón, and I have put in the work to be able to go out with the title on Saturday night.
Finalmente, Pitufo, tú podías decir que la tercera es la vencida.
Finally, Pitufo, you could say like the third time is the charm.
Sí, me siento preparado. Creo que además de estar bien preparado física, estoy más preparado emocionalmente, mentalmente, espiritualmente. Como persona he mejorado un montón. Como peleador no se puede, ¿cómo te digo?, describir lo mucho que he mejorado en estos 2 años. Y nada, llegó el momento de que Pitufo se corone campeón mundial.
I'm ready to go. I have grown a lot spiritually, mentally, personally. I cannot even describe how much I have evolved as a fighter in the last 2 years. But this is the time that Pitufo will become world champion.
Thank you, Ernesto. And next we go to Ricardo Torres. Ricardo, please go ahead and ask your question when ready.
Y tu saludo. Para que me contestes en español, por favor. Háblame sobre tu estado mental, físico y técnico y táctico en la actualidad. ¿Cómo fue el trabajo en el gimnasio, ya habiendo terminado la parte fuerte, y cómo estás de peso y todo ya 3 días de la pelea?
Tell me about how is your mental and physical state, you know, like doing all the hard work is already done. How do you feel so close to the fight?
Me siento bien preparado, creo que el trabajo se hizo a la perfección. Nada pudo salir mejor que este campamento. Fue un campamento de 9 semanas de como dice, intensidad. Sabemos que es una pelea fuerte. Nos preparamos para hacer nuestra pelea y ganar lo más sanamente posible. Haremos nuestra pelea. Mentalmente, físicamente me siento a otro nivel. Creo que nadie más que yo se siente más seguro que voy a ganar esta pelea y lo van a ver el 24 de abril.
I feel perfectly, you know, physically, mentally. Training camp couldn't go better. And there's no anyone more confident than myself that I will win on Saturday night and I will become world champion on Saturday night.
Y tú, en términos de los estilos de ustedes dos, ¿cómo tú anticipas que macheen y qué clase de combate anticipas el sábado?
Looking at the styles of the both fighters, how do you think it's going to mix up and what can we expect on Saturday night?
Mira, que puedo decirle, los estilos chocan. Navarrete siempre viene a traer lo mejor de él. Muere en la raya, como dice uno. Yo también me gusta morir en la raya, pero esa noche se trata de una pelea diferente. El más inteligente, creo que seré yo encima del ring. Utilizaré todas mis habilidades para hacer lo necesario y salir ganador esa noche. Creo que Navarrete tiene las manos llenas el 24 de abril.
Gracias.
This will be a clash of styles. You know, Navarrete is a come forward fighter who dies on the line. I'm the same way. And you know, I think he has his hands full on Saturday night. I'm going to use all my abilities to come out with the win on Saturday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ricardo. Next, we are going to go to, let's see, Carlos Toro. Carlos, unmute yourself, please.
Thanks so much, Christopher, for taking time to talk to us. You know, when you look at your first world title challenge a few years ago, it took place in Kissimmee, Florida as well. And you look at how you've evolved as a fighter since then. How do you sort of assess the fighter that you are right now versus the fighter that you were back when you fought Masayuki Ito in 2017?
The first thing that I say, it wasn't my weight class. The second thing that I can say, my mindset wasn't the same. The third thing I can say is, right now I don't mix emotions with my career. So on that night, it's gonna be like almost 7,000 people over there. Yelling me, yelling pitufo, but I'm ready for that time. I'm ready for that moment. I prepare myself more for that than for the fight. Because when you get emotional in between game plan and fight, you gotta be concentrated. What about you're gonna bring to the fight? You know, Navarrete is an awkward fighter. He comes forward, he bring a war. So it's on me to make the fight 70-30, because everybody wants to see a fight 50-50. Banging each other toe to toe, and it's not like that. Boxing is not like that. Boxing was made to hit and doesn't get hit. So, and I think if you see my last 3 fights, Adesio dos Santos, Shakur Stevenson, after Shakur Stevenson fight, I've been growing a lot because I learned from that. Shakur Stevenson make his fight. If he should have made my fight that night, the winner will be me. You know, Shakur Stevenson was intelligent. He made his game plan, and he took me apart. You know, he won the fight easy. So when I fought Adesio dos Santos, it was a 5-10 with 82 Rich, and I make the fight easy because I fight my fight. With Jason Sanchez, he went distance, split decision with Oscar Valdez, and if you see the fight, he make it like a harder fight to Valdez than me because I'm fighting my fight. I box, I counter, I can, mentally, I come in there to make something happen, like make my word talk to me, and I think that night is gonna be that's gonna be the key.
Thanks, Pitufo, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Carlos. And Pitufo, I know during the pandemic you had a bit of a side hustle, side business you had going on. You did some stuff with Francisco Lindor as a New York Mets fan. His fielding is great.
Yeah.
We need to pick up the bat a little bit, but I'm sure he will turn things around. But can you talk about what you did with Francisco Lindor and a couple of the baseball players over in Florida when you had some free time during the pandemic?
Yeah, man. I was like sitting down in my house because I was supposed to fight Carlos Castro for title eliminator on 122, the WBC title. And then I was like, you know what? I gotta make something because I gotta bring food to the table to my family. And I don't gotta fight. They pulled me the fight off. I don't gotta fight, so I invest money. I buy my truck, detailing company, I start detailers, and I start watching cars everywhere, blah blah blah. And then somebody hooked me up with Bebo Perez, is the catcher from Cardinals. And then from him, I jumped to Francisco Lindor, and then I started watching luxury cars, and my name could get bigger in the industry of detailing. And I got a company now. I'm doing a lot of trucks, so I can give somebody opportunity to make a lot of money monthly, and they just gotta pay me the rent from the truck. So I got a big plan, a part of boxing, and that's good because a lot of fighters never invest money thinking about boxing is for the whole life, and it's not like that. You gotta make something a part of boxing.
So if I ever drive my Toyota Corolla to Florida, Pitufo, I know where to go. It needs a lot of work. That it's like 6 years old, so I need some help on the Corolla. Before we got a couple more questions. Before we get to Emanuel Navarrete, Eric Alexander. Eric Alexander. Please unmute yourself and go ahead. You can ask in English or Spanish.
Pitufo, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo te va?
¿Cómo te va, papá?
Primero, felicidades por ese inglés, ha mejorado significativamente.
Sí, sí.
Pregunta que te hago, Pitufo, luego de haber caído en tu primer intento titular ante Shakur Stevenson, ¿cuán importante ha sido no tan solo el aspecto físico, sino el aspecto mental, esa preparación mental? Sabemos que en Puerto Rico estamos pasando por un momento un poco complicado con esto de los campeones mundiales y quería saber si eso de alguna manera te da una motivación extra o te añade presión extra de cara a un combate con un peleador como lo es Emanuel Navarrete.
How is the mental state coming up for this fight? Puerto Rico is going through a rough patch with not many world champions. And does that motivate you for the fight against Navarrete?
Pues mira, me motivó bastante. Creo que necesitamos. Nosotros estamos en una tierra que siempre tenemos muchos campeones mundiales. Contamos todavía con mucho talento. Creo que vienen muchas promesas subiendo. Está Berlanga, Josue Vargas, Orlando Capo González, Henry Librón. Te sigo mencionando nombres. Tenemos mucho talento subiendo. Lo más alto que estamos ahora mismo está Sniper Pedraza, estoy yo, está Félix Verdejo. Hay muchos campeones que ya están desarrollados, que podemos convertirnos en campeón mundial en cualquier momento. Y para mí no trae presión, ya que pues yo estoy aquí para pelear con los mejores, ¿sabes? Estoy para aquí para probarme entre los mejores. Y creo que la noche del 24 es una noche más, ¿sabes? Es una noche que yo he trabajado para estar ahí y yo he trabajado para conseguirme esa oportunidad. Está en mí hacer el plan de pelea adecuado para ganarme la correa del título mundial.
It motivates me. My bad. It motivates me a lot, knowing that Puerto Rico doesn't have many champions right now, and we always been island of champions. But I believe, we have a lot of up-and-comers, new blood that is coming from the island, like Berlanga, myself, Pedraza, all the guys are going to be on the card. And that's not extra pressure. I know that I have worked hard and that I have done everything necessary to come out with the victory and bring the title to Puerto Rico.
Sabemos que Kissimmee y Nueva York son las plataformas más grandes para los peleadores puertorriqueños. ¿Qué significa para ti ser el evento estelar ante una persona como Emanuel Navarrete que le suma a otra página de lo que es la famosa guerra entre México y Puerto Rico en este deporte?
We know that New York and Kissimmee are, where most Puerto Rican fans are and where Puerto Rican fighters are going to fight. How does it feel to fight in front of your people and also facing someone like Emanuel Navarrete, who's a great champion?
It looks like Diaz, Christopher. Sorry, yep. Patuvo, please unmute yourself. He logged out.
Now, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, me ayuda, ¿sabes? Ya es mi segunda oportunidad de título mundial frente a mi gente. Creo que, pero como te digo, yo no mezclo emociones. Cuestión a mi carrera profesional, antes lo hacía y me perjudicaba mucho. Ya sé que yo soy un jibarito del campo que vino creciendo poco a poco. Los que me vieron crecer saben que mucha gente no me veía ni llegar a la mitad de donde he llegado. Y ver que mi primera pelea de título mundial, llené el coliseo con más de 9,000 personas, lleno total, no me visualizaba de esa manera, pero ya sé de lo que soy capaz de hacer, sé hasta dónde he llevado mi talento. Está en mí la noche del 24 hacer una pelea para mí y obviamente para que los fanáticos disfruten, pero especialmente para que el trabajo que hagamos en el gimnasio se vea completado al 100%, llevarnos la victoria con el título mundial para Puerto Rico.
Bueno,
This will be my, thank you. This will be my second opportunity fighting for a world title in front of my people, but I don't let that get to me. I don't mix the emotions with my professional career. Before I used to do that and things didn't go well for me. Many people that follow my career know that, I came from the bottom up and that I have accomplished a lot of things that a lot of people didn't even think that I was going to accomplish half of what I have done. So right now I'm in a mental state where I know the position I'm at, and I know that I have done the work to come out victorious on Saturday.
All right, looks like we might have a couple more questions. As I said, please put the raise hand button in order to ask a question, or message me in the chat, and we will get to you. We will get to you as soon as possible. Hold on one second. Hector Islas. Hector, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi, Iván. Hola a todos. Hola, Pitufo. Una pregunta es, ¿el alcance de los puños de Emanuel Navarrete pudiera ser la mejor arma que él pudiera tener para poder ganar? ¿Cómo contrarrestar ese alcance de puños que tiene Emanuel Navarrete? Y si pelear en Kissimmee, Florida, es como si estuvieras peleando en la isla, porque hay muchos aficionados puertorriqueños ahí. ¿Qué significa para ti y si consideras que esto es algo que te pueda ayudar como si pelearas en casa?
Question is, how do you think you can overcome one of the biggest attributes from Navarrete? He's rich, and how do you think you're going to overcome that?
Mira, creo que el plan de pelea se hizo. Los sparring partners eran todos parecidos a Navarrete, grandes, tiraban mucho golpe, brazos largos, y te puedo decir que no tuve problemas con ninguno. Solo está en llevar el plan de pelea perfecto, que tenemos varios, y el que nos funciona mejor es el que vamos a utilizar. Entonces, estando con mi gente me ayudaría, claro. Estoy en mi casa, estoy en mi patio, pero como vuelvo y digo, no mezclo mis emociones. Trato de estar bien enfocado en lo que es mi pelea, y el sábado en la noche pues nos coronamos campeón mundial.
We have a couple of game plans that we know are going to work perfectly for this fight. I have done the work with the sparring partners, long guys with long reach, who throw a lot of punches like Navarrete does, and I didn't have any problems with any of them. I believe that we have the game plan to beat him. And fighting in front of my people, is going to be a plus for me. But like I said, I'm not going to let my emotions get mixed up with what I'm doing in the ring.
All right, thank you. And next we go to Jocelyn Flores. Jocelyn, I'm going to unmute you in 1 second. There we go. Please unmute yourself and go ahead when ready, Jocelyn. Jocelyn Flores, going once, going twice. All right, Jocelyn, we will, okay, we're gonna go to Pepe Camarillo. Pepe, are you there? I guess Pepe is not there as well. Hold on, sorry about that. Let's see who else we have. All right, well, I guess now that the Pepe and Eric are not there, Christopher, anything else you'd like to say in closing to your fans as we approach Saturday night? Any final words?
Thank you, everybody, to support me to get to this point in my career. I think on Saturday is gonna be fireworks night. It's gonna be a great night for Puerto Rico. Concentrate, meditating on the fight. I think it's gonna be a great fight for me, for my family, for my twins, for my baby, my big baby. And it's just that time to become world champion. I deserve it.
Well, thank you so much.
También. Let him say in Spanish too, Aaron.
Yeah,
gracias. Okay. Gracias a todas las personas que me apoyan, son parte de llegar hasta aquí. La hambre que tengo se ve por los poros. Me merezco la victoria. He trabajado fuerte para esto. Meditado mucho en mi pelea. Creo que mi gemela, mi hija mayor, mi familia se merecen este título. Y el sábado de la noche nos coronamos campeón mundial y será una gran noche para Puerto Rico.
And gracias, thank you, Pitufo, and we will see you in Kissimmee, Florida very shortly. Now joining us on the call is the WBO featherweight champion of the world. He is a former WBO junior featherweight of the champion of the world, who last October won the title with a very, very hard-fought, exciting, unanimous decision over the previously undefeated Ruben Villa. He's from Mexico, and he will be defending, as I said, his title for the first time. He's the 2-weight world champion, Emmanuel Navarrete. We have Gardy Lopez will translate for Emmanuel. Gardy, can you ask Emmanuel how he's feeling and how preparation went as we are 4 days away from his title defense?
Vaquero, ¿cómo te sientes para esta pelea? Solamente 4 días de defender tu título ante Pitufo Díaz. ¿Y cómo te sientes en este momento?
Hola, buenos días. Yo estoy muy bien, gracias a Dios. Estamos ya pues con los últimos detalles para marcar la división y ya posteriormente estaremos viajando para Kissimmee. Estoy estupendamente bien, muy contento de poder regresar a pelear. Este año estaba un poquito complicado con lo de la pandemia y me siento contento de tener la oportunidad de pelear. Yo creo que salió muy bien las cosas en cuanto a la preparación y vamos muy decididos a dar una excelente exhibición.
I feel great. I feel happy, of fighting and defending my title once again. This last year was a little bit complicated with everything that happened with the pandemic, but I'm happy to be back and we have done everything. Right now, we're just doing the finishing touches to make the weight. And I'm ready to defend the title.
And as I say, everybody, please raise hand or send me a private message if you want to ask Vaquero a question. We are going to start things off with Ricardo Torres. Ricardo, unmute yourself. And a reminder, since these questions, if the question's asked in Spanish, Gardy will please give Gardy time to translate in English. If the question's asked in English, please give Gardy time to translate in Spanish for Vaquero. Ricardo Torres, please go ahead, sir.
Saludos, Navarrete. Me interesaba un comentario suyo sobre cuáles son los principales retos que presenta Pitufo Díaz como retador y de qué manera trabajaron en el gimnasio para tratar de contrarrestar lo que él te pueda presentar.
Question is, what are the biggest threats that Pitufo presents as a challenger, and what did you do in the gym to counter those threats?
Yo pienso que Pitufo va a pelear de una manera tal vez de la cual no me favorece. pues me refiero a que trataría de boxear más en la pelea y tratar de sacar ventaja por su velocidad, pero sí, también como dices, trabajamos bastante esos aspectos, trabajamos mucho en la velocidad y tratamos de trabajar en cuanto a pelear con un peleador que se va a dedicar como a moverse, pues no dejamos de lado esa parte y vamos preparados para cualquier forma de pelear que Pitufo presente en esta pelea.
I think Pitufo's game plan is going to be a game plan that is not going to benefit me. Saying that, you know, he's going to be boxing and moving a lot, you know, he's going to take advantage of his speed. But we have work on that in the gym. And, you know, like I believe he's just going to move around, but I'm here to pressure him and, you know, get this win.
Dices que si él se presenta con velocidad y desplazamiento y rapidez, no te beneficia. ¿Puedes elaborar un poco en eso? ¿Por qué entiendes que ese estilo te podría causar problemas si se llega a presentar así?
Can you elaborate? Déjame traducir, vaquero, disculpa. Can you elaborate a little bit about when you said that the style doesn't benefit you when Pitufo will move around and, you know, use his speed?
Yo pienso que no es como que a mí se me complique este estilo, pero a mí no me gusta tanto pelear así. Me gusta el choque, me gusta fajarme. Soy un peleador que pues realmente anhela pelear de frente y no estar como tanto pues corriendo en la pelea y así. Me gusta más como plantarme y estar golpeando a mi rival y prefiero que lo haga él a mí porque se abre más la pelea, pues siento que es más interesante y nos beneficia pues a ambos porque generamos una expectativa bastante alta de buena pelea.
That's the kind of fight that I prefer. I prefer, you know, to go toe to toe and, you know, exchange punches. I really believe he's going to be I have the style, you know, to make a good fight. It's going to be a war. That's what I'm looking for. But that's what I say, that he's going to try to, you know, move around and run.
Thank you very much, Gardy. And next we go to Ernesto Amador. And Ernesto, please unmute yourself.
Gracias. Vaquero, antes que nada, un gusto saludarte y te pregunto, por los estilos, por la preparación, por lo que significa, ¿tú crees que esta pelea entre ustedes quede grabada en la historia de las máximas peleas entre México y Puerto Rico?
Do you believe that this fight between Pitufo and Navarrete is going to be one of the biggest fights in between Mexico and Puerto Rico?
Yo creo que depende más de Pitufo, porque si bien ha dicho que va a salir a hacer una pelea boxeando, va a ser como una pelea evadiendo pues sí, literal, evadiendo la pelea, pues yo creo que no va a ser tan fácil de que dejemos huella, ¿no? Porque la gente pues quiere ver una pelea explosiva, como en su momento lo hizo el mismísimo Siri Salido contra Martín. Juanma. Sí, okay. O sea, como Chávez y Macho Camacho, o sea, pues ocupan ver peleas importantes, peleas que representen emoción, ¿sabes? Y yo creo que si Pitufo, más que si quiere, yo creo que lo debe hacer, ¿no? Porque está en su casa, posiblemente podemos verlo como su casa, va a estar como ante la mayor parte de su gente, más que mía, y él debe de buscar sí o sí una excelente pelea, y la excelente pelea viene de la mano con fajarnos. Aparte, el alcance está de mi lado, me favorece bastante el alcance a mí, y yo creo que el hecho de que él quiera boxear y eso me suena un poco como absurdo, porque te digo, yo tengo el alcance y pues no se me complica tanto esa parte. Tal vez él dice que sí, pero en lo absoluto yo creo que soy un peleador que puede trabajar también con un estilo de esos y va a ser aún más complicado el que me pueda golpear intentando boxear en una pelea contra mí.
I think that for us to leave our names in the big wars between Mexico and Puerto Rico is gonna depend on what Pitufo does on Fight Night. You know, if for us to give the fans a great war, he's gonna have to do what I like to do, which is, you know, go to toe to toe, exchange punches. But if he feels like he's gonna have the advantage, just moving around, you know, I also have the reach advantage, so I don't think that's gonna be a problem for me either. I also think that, you know, we're gonna be in front of his fans. So if he wants to give the fans a good fight, I think he should, you know, at one moment during the fight, he's gonna have to stop and trade punches with me.
Thank you very much. Next, we move on to Mark Wicker. Mark, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yes, you just mentioned your reach advantage, which is pretty substantial in this fight. How much of a key has that been in other fights, and how do you protect against him getting inside when he wants to come in and get inside with your body?
Mencionaste que una de las ventajas que tiene es el alcance. ¿Cuánto ese alcance ha sido clave para ti en tu otra victoria? ¿Y cómo controlarías esos momentos cuando él decida entrar en tu guardia y intercambiar contigo?
Yo creo que el alcance es fundamental en cuanto a mi carrera, no solamente en esta pelea, sino que en toda mi carrera, porque es una ventaja impresionante el que me produce tener este alcance. Literalmente los peleadores no me lastiman tan fácil precisamente por el alcance, porque no los dejo entrar. Y en cuanto entran, pues es como entrar a mi terreno, ¿sabes? O sea, entrar a mi terreno donde yo soy el fajador, donde yo soy el que normalmente mi pegada, pues gracias a Dios me ha ayudado también mucho, porque es una pegada bastante sólida, y aunque parece que no, pues lastimo mucho a los peleadores. Entonces, en cuanto Pitufo quiere entrar a mi guardia, pues va a ser donde va a empezar la verdadera pelea, porque pues sabemos que soy un peleador de choque, y pues si bien yo sé que Pitufo también lo es un peleador que le gusta también fajarse, y es donde va a ser la candelita pura en la pelea.
I believe that my reach has been very important in my career, you know, because I keep all the fighters at distance where they cannot hurt me. But when fighters decide to get in my guard, I also, you know, like when they do that, because that's the kind of fight that I like. I like to go toe to toe, and that's when, you know, like the real fight starts. I don't believe he has the advantage of that, and I think that's where I'm gonna hurt him on Fight Night.
Evan, is Carl still around?
No, I will message me privately. We'll get that taken care of for you. Carl
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Next, Jeremy Harridges. Jeremy, please unmute yourself.
Hi, Emmanuel. In a recent interview, you talked about trying to polish certain aspects of your style. What specific aspects of your style have you been working on?
Que en una entrevista reciente dijiste que estabas trabajando en ciertos aspectos de tu estilo. ¿En qué específicamente trabajaste durante este entrenamiento?
Pues traté más bien de no ser tan abierto en cuanto a bajar las manos, a tratar de cubrir un poco más, porque sabemos que puede llegar un golpe ahí de repente, y nos puede agarrar mal, con la guardia en mal postura, y puede ser algo malo. Entonces trabajamos en la guardia, en pasos laterales, y un poco más técnico, pues tratamos de ser más técnicos en ese aspecto, y pues protegernos mejor.
For this fight, we work on defense, you know, keeping my hands up, a little bit of more technical style, because we know that if I'm caught with my hands down, a big shot could come in, and that could be bad for us. So that's basically what we worked on this fight.
You have over 100 amateur fights, but a lot of people think of you as a knockout puncher. Do you think that people underrate your boxing skill?
Muchas personas te conocen por el estilo que tiras que tiras muchos golpes, tienes pegadas. ¿Piensas que quizás algunas personas no le dan el valor que merece tu estilo boxístico?
No sé si realmente, pues, yo creo que esto es más como de gustos, pues, muchos estilos diferentes. Hay mucha gente que le gusta el mismísimo Floyd Mayweather, mucha gente le gusta, a muchos no. Pacquiao a muchos les gusta y a muchos no también. Entonces, yo me rijo más por el tema personal. A mí me gusta esto que hago o de la manera que lo hago. Y pues al menos si mi estilo es feo o malo o bueno, yo voy a tratar de ser como el mejor en mi estilo, ¿sabes? Es como algo personal.
I think it depends on the style that the fans like. You know, some people like my style, some people don't like my style. You know, the same way it was with Floyd Mayweather. Some people used to like the way he fought, and some people didn't. So, you know, I think just something personal from each fan. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep being the best in the style that I like.
We will close things out with, let's see who we have here. Joe Hewlett. Joe, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hey, Emmanuel. In England, we have a fighter called Josh Warrington, who I'm sure you know very well. What are the chances of a future fight with him?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah. In England, we've got a fighter called Josh Warrington, who I'm sure Emmanuel has heard of. Is there a chance of a fight with him down the line?
En Inglaterra está Josh Warrington. Él dice que debes haber escuchado de él y si te interesa una pelea con él eventualmente.
Sí, sé que está él, Warrington está por allá. Anteriormente fue campeón mundial de la FIB. Yo creo que sí sería interesante, pero primero debe de pasar por Bronco Lara, ¿no? Mauricio Lara, que lo venció igual anteriormente, y de ser así, con todo el gusto del mundo pelearemos y será una excelente pelea también por el estilo que él presenta. Yo creo que será una pelea, una guerra entre México e Inglaterra de las pocas que puede llegar a haber, ¿no?
I know who he is. You know, he used to be IBF champion, but before facing me, I think he should, you know, face again Bronco Lara to beat him. If he does that, I will be more than willing to face him. I like his style, and I believe that his style and my style are going to make for a great fight. It would be a great war between Mexico and England.
Thank you very much, Joe. And Gardy, before we let Emmanuel go, just ask him any final thoughts and any final messages he would like to say to his fans out there.
Vaquero, ¿algún mensaje final que quieras decir para tus fanáticos y para los medios presentes?
No, gracias a todos por estar aquí conmigo, estar compartiendo estas cosas, este seguimiento de mi pelea, y también pues quiero dejar claro que voy a ir a algo nada más a Kissimmee, a defender pues lo que me ha costado tantísimo, y yo creo que lejos del plan que lleve Pitufo va a ser una excelente guerra, porque así yo lo voy a buscar, y esperen una excelente pelea de Emanuel Navarrete contra Pitufo Diaz.
I would like to thank everyone, you know, for the time and being here with me. I'm going to Kissimmee to do just one thing, and that's defend my title and bring it back home. The title has cost me a lot of sacrifice, and I'm not letting it go. And no matter what kind of style Pitufo presents, I'm gonna look for the war, and I'm gonna finish him.
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you, Gardy. Just as a reminder, main event, co-main event, that's Navarrete Diaz and Berlanga Nicholson, ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Deportes, 10 p.m. Eastern. undercard, which includes Josue Vargas, Joseph Adorno, Xander Zayas, Orlando Gonzalez, and Jacob Gomez, all basically an all Puerto Rican undercard. That'll start at 6 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on ESPN Plus. It'll be live from a sold-out Silver Spurs Arena in Kissimmee, Florida. I want to thank all the fighters for joining us today and all the media for joining us as well. And thank you, and we will see you all Saturday night. Cheers.